All right, welcome back everybody. So today what we're going to be doing is building a simple Spring Boot application. Our end goal here is just it's just a quick introduction to Spring and how to set up your RESTful APIs and just create two simple endpoints, a GET and a POST request. So that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Underneath the project section is what sort of dependency manager you would like to have. By the way, go over to start.spring.io. This is by far the quickest way to get started with Spring. But yeah, let's get back into it. Choose a Spring version. The default is fine. Here in the group, it's typically your organization's name. So if you were Google, it'd be com.google. And that's it. But for our case, I'm going to use my YouTube name. And then for the artifact, I will name it Tree Factory, because we need more trees in this world. Why not, you know? All right, so packaging, leave it as a jar, and then the version of Java, I prefer Java 8. And next, we want to go over here to add dependencies and click on Spring Web, which comes with a bunch of very useful tools that you can start using right out of the box. So go ahead and click generate once all this is configured the way you like it. Next thing you want to do is open up the zipped file, unzip it. Once it's unzipped, you can go into your favorite IDE. I personally enjoy using IntelliJ. Go over to open. Downloads, Tree Factory, and open. Now this may take a while or it may not, depending on your computer. And if you're running any sort of screen recording software, which I am, so this might take a minute. Now what's happening here is IntelliJ is scanning our project, and it noticed that it was actually a type of Gradle project, and it's now indexing our project to give us a bunch of cool features that allow our jobs to be a little bit easier when working with an IDE. Like this little tab up here, I'm just saying some, trying to make the time pass by while this indexes. This little tab right here is a good example. It gives you a few commands you can run, like refreshing your dependencies or building your project. And you only have access to that whenever your compiler, in our case IntelliJ, recognizes our project as a Gradle file or a Gradle project and indexes everything for us. All right, so now that our project is finished importing and our compiler is done indexing everything, we can start jumping into code. You want to go over to Java, and in here where you see Tree Factory application is the entry point of our Spring Boot application. So you can see here's the public void main args that we're all used to when writing Java. And this is the Spring application runner wrapper. So let's go ahead and think about what we want to do for a second. Let's have a model. Let's call it tree. And let's have two endpoints. One is going to be a post and another is going to be a get. Now the get request is just going to be you pass in nothing and it returns with a tree. And with a post request, you are going to modify, we're going to modify something within the tree that we're passing in and returning it as a new tree. So that being said, let's go over here and create our models package. and our controllers package. Now in here, we'll go over to Java class, call that a tree. And now we will have some attributes. Let's give the tree a name and a type. And then here's a fun tip. If you hold Command and N inside of IntelliJ, you can just create your getters and setters like so. Choose the fields that you want it to create for. Hit OK. And there we go. Next thing we want to do is create a class called tree controller. And in here is where we're going to start seeing our Spring Boot annotations. This right here is an annotation. REST controller. So basically what this does is whenever the program starts compiling, our Spring wrapper will recognize these annotations as part of its library and give them certain attributes or access to certain things. So let's go over here and create our get mapping. This is also another annotation, and we'll make this endpoint just a empty, actually let's just give it tree, and then we'll do public get tree. Actually we'll return a tree and get tree. We'll import this. And all we want to do is return a new tree. And I just realized I forgot to add a constructor here. So if we go back here and then Command N and constructor for both, there we go. Back to the controller. And now we want to pass in the name and then the type. Let's call it Oak, and then the name will be Kenny. So now if we go ahead and run this application, whenever you're running your Spring Boot application for the very first time, you're not going to have any configurations up here to just click run. So what you want to do is go back over to that entry point and click this play button here and run. So the default port that this runs on is 8080, but you can change it by going into the resources and application properties and setting, I think it's like Spring port or something, or application port, and you can specify a different port number if you wanted. Alright, so it looks like our application is almost up and running. Alright, looks like it's coming up here in a second. If we go over to localhost 8080, we should see something here in a second. Alright, so our web server is up. Now if we go over to the tree endpoint, we should see our new tree, Kenny. Kenny's an oak tree. Cool. So next we want to add our post request, And this time we will have a different type of response body. Instead of returning a tree, we're gonna return something that's actually useful for us as developers, and that would be a response entity. So we'll pass in the same endpoint name, and we will call this. Well, first we need to declare a response type. And we can still pass in a string to our response entity. That's fine. And here we'll call it post tree. And here what we want to do is return our tree, which we have to get from our parameter here, or our request body. Request body. And this is going to be of type tree. And that's tree. All right. So now, yeah, we're going to have this tree coming in. And what do we want to do? Let's send it just a tree body with no name, or sorry, with a name and no type. And then we'll declare the type here. So we'll just do tree.set type to pine. And then here we just return response entity dot OK, which basically returns a 200, and then the tree. Oh, sorry. For here, instead of string, put in tree. So that way, it's expecting that type inside of the response entity. So now that we have that, we can go ahead and rebuild our application. And I'll go ahead and open up Postman to get everything started. I should probably wait until this compiles. Cool, I already have it up. And this is from earlier, but we'll go ahead and open a new tab. We'll go over to localhost 8080/tree. Hit the get endpoint to make sure everything's working, that it's running. All right, we have Kenny the oak tree. All right, so if we go over to body and do raw, and then JSON, and we'll just do a name, and the name is gonna be Penny. Penny the pine tree. We'll change this to post, and we'll hit the endpoint. And there we go. There is Penny the pine tree. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a very brief introduction to Spring Boot. Let me know what you guys thought. Let me know if you guys would like to see anything in particular next time. And with that being said, I will see you guys next time. Thank you. Make sure you like and subscribe, by the way. And yeah, see you guys next time.